Travis Wayne Goodsell will do one more video for today about William Law. And so we'll see how much time we have left until we can't do no more. Because apparently Jesus is going to be coming any time now to coup the government. So we're on high alert for that. And since we were left behind, although Mormonism doesn't really have a left behind rapture scenario per se, it means everybody is wicked. And so only the righteous Mormons will be able to endure the burning fire of Jesus, whereas everybody else is not able to endure the burning fire of Jesus and gets burned to ash. One of those things from Mormonism that makes you go, oh my God, I need to run. This is a murder-death cult. Dear God. Kool-Aid gets handed out daily. Everybody's in the barn, ready to commit suicide to go meet Jesus up in the clouds behind the comet, or the spaceship behind the comet, or whatever other group that does mass murders of their own people to prove their church is true. I mean, why can't they be a normal extremist terrorist religion like Islam or Christianity and start a holy war? Oh wait, they did in 1838 in Missouri. And that was election day too. God. So, some fun things for you before we get into the meat and potatoes. Oh, it's been so long since I've had meat and potatoes. See, my grandpa Goodsell, after he retired on the farm, and I guess probably his whole life, since he was a farmer and he was rich, and then selling the farm to the big farm, not big pharma, he was able to have steak and potatoes pretty much any time he wanted, which was every day. And so, yeah, he's dead of a heart attack. We're still not clear, and I will never ask, if it was because of the marriage announcement to the first ex. Oops, did I just kill Grandpa? And so, the first curious tidbit is there's some more fun stuff with AI that I've been playing around with. We'll see about doing it a video for tomorrow or something. But yeah, the whole thing is screwed up. No, AI is stupid. They know nothing about the Jews. And so there's just way too much confusion as AI considers both Joseph Smith and Jesus Messiah ben David. But does not recognize Joseph Smith as Messiah ben Joseph from 2 Nephi chapter 3 chapter 3. It's all about Joseph Smith Jr. as Messiah ben Joseph. Dear God. And then there's more confusion about the man like Moses and Emmanuel. Because Jesus is Messiah ben David. He's not Messiah or he's not the man like Moses. I think. Yeah, it's not him, it's somebody else. And it's all labeled the same. I haven't transferred it to the, cut and pasted it to the relabeled. But he's also Emmanuel. So I'm pretty sure he's not Messiah. He's not the man like Moses. I have to find it because it's annoying me. Oh, yeah. And the bully who said I'm mentally retarded and therefore all that I say is fake news about the Jewish Christ, the Jewish religion. As an anti-Semite he is. I came back after posting the latest video that I talked about it in, and it was still there. And then I go do a search for Google or YouTube policies for bullying on YouTube. And then I came back and gone. Chandler is stalking me. That's his name. He is stalking me. He's the Mormon employee who's been stalking me and cyber terrorizing me this whole time. Gotcha. Bastard. Unbelievable. So, and then also on this paper that I wrote down, it's all boxed. I don't memorize. And so I tried to access Google to try to figure out the root words within Apocalypse for Revelation, the book of. And so apo is from, and calypse is to cover or conceal. And so from the concealment, thus reveal what is concealed. Let's see, is Messiah ben David a human? Yes. Is Messiah ben David a god? No. How is Jesus Messiah ben David but not God? Isn't he God? I thought he was God. Christians say he's God. Is Messiah ben David Emmanuel? No. Is Messiah ben Joseph Emmanuel? No. Who's Emmanuel? Is Deuteronomy 18:15 Emmanuel? Deuteronomy 18 is considered a messianic prophecy that some say was fulfilled by Jesus Christ. So the man like Moses is Jesus. Did Joseph Smith see Emmanuel in his first vision? Yes. He saw Jesus. Did Joseph Smith see Emmanuel in the second vision? The brightness of the sun at noonday. No. He saw Moroni. They can't even get the Joseph Smith papers. Oh my God, it's Nephi. Anyway, did Lehi see Emmanuel in 1 Nephi chapter 1? Yes. Lehi saw Jesus. It's not there. So it must be one of the older ones. Is Jesus Messiah ben David? I don't think I have. Is Jesus Messiah ben, or the man like Moses? Oh my God. Oh my God. So we got to do it. Got to do it. Gots to. Is Jesus Christ the man like Moses? Yes, he's everything. Gotcha. But he's not Messiah, but Deuteronomy AI, is Deuteronomy 18:15 Jesus Christ? Yes. And then, is Deuteronomy 18:15 the Jewish Messiah ben David? No. But Jesus is Messiah ben David. You see what's going on? Confusion. Not able to get their thing straight. It is not intelligent. Hilarious. Okay. So, William Law. It'll be in this file, right? Yep. I did cover the thing I wanted to cover, right? So many things to cover since this is the final video for the day. We're already at 11 minutes. Alright, William Law. So, I've been doing these kinds of videos every once in a while over the years. I've been trying to tell you how to learn, not trust from somebody's journal entry or somebody's video from somebody's journal entry, or somebody's video of somebody's video of somebody's video from somebody's journal entry. Or somebody's video, like down the line, to a person who published a book of somebody's journal entry. Dear God, nobody knows how to do research. So sad. And so, I've been trying to teach you how to learn and do research. So, that you can do it. And so you can do this with everything, but we're focusing on the scriptures as Jewish and church history as Jewish. And so, I've tried to help you understand that you need to have a filing system, whether it's digitized or on paper, however you do it. If you can memorize it, more power to you. I'll stick to my reference books, thanks. A paper page file for names, then places, then events, dates, and yeah, we covered places. So that as you put them on, and dates in chronological order, the intention is that when you start running a theory test, doing research, you look for patterns. And some people are on the right idea but fail miserably. One case example of failure miserably is did Sidney Rigdon write the Book of Mormon? And one of the claims is that Sidney Rigdon was in Pittsburgh at the same post office that Solomon Spaulding had a post office. Well, yeah, but not at the same time. The chronology is off. They never bumped into each other. And so your theory development has to include an explanation of how Sidney Rigdon is the major author of the Book of Mormon, not having made contact with Solomon Spaulding. And they can't, they're not getting to that. They're just unable to do so. They cut out too many premises so that they can conclude hastily, and thus they're wrong. They're right about their hypothesis that Sidney Rigdon's the major author of the Book of Mormon, but they're wrong about how it was done. And so they conclude, therefore, that Sidney Rigdon stole the manuscript found and plagiarized it to turn him into a villain with a hasty conclusion, thus a false accusation. And so I've already done all the research from the beginning of Senior and Lucy in Vermont with their kids, working forward to Carthage jail assassination. And when you're doing a crime scene investigation, you not only go before that what led up to it, plus what happened during the crime, examining the evidence at the crime scene, but also continuing on to see what people do afterward, who gets rewarded, following the money, those kinds of things. And so I'm able to then know from Brigham Young to the current Nelson as a result. And so I've been trying to help you understand that when you go over one of thousands of Mormons from the beginning under Joseph Smith, since there are already established facts that I've tested for, it's simply a matter of plugging in the new person that I'm going over into the factual information. William Law will not be able to expose the factual information as frauds, because it's factual. It's already been confirmed at least 3 times from separate sources. And so, no, what is actually going on is that if William Law's information contradicts facts, the information is wrong. So then you got to figure out, okay, what is the correct information for the Mormon that you're doing the research on? And so one of the biggest scandals that nobody is getting right is, was Joseph Smith a polygamist or not? And it's not just polygamy that Joseph Smith is being accused of. He's being accused of child rape, adultery, and multiple women. Not just being sealed to them. But then you have to understand where sealing originated for marriage, etc., etc. Because you cannot use this church's definitions and impose them on Joseph. You know, like Christianity on Joseph. This is where you get the AI contradictions. And so I think that helps so that we can proceed. William Law was born September 8th, 1809, so he's younger than Joseph Smith by 4 years, minus a couple of months. Died on January 19th, 1892. So there's your names, William Law, and then there's your dates. William Law, born 8 September 1809, died January 19th, 1892. And those would be put in chronological order rather than together, because you've got other dates that will be involved, not just for persons, births, and deaths, but for events, dates. And and so the chronology is in that context. So you can't say that a certain person did a certain event on a certain day when you see that his chronology dating doesn't match, like the post office. And so let's skip that intro. Well, was an important figure in the early history of the Latter-day Saint movement. holding a position in the church's first presidency under Joseph Smith Jr. Law was later excommunicated for apostasy. No. No. From the church, and was founder of the short-lived True Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now, do you see why I'm bringing this up, for those of you who have been following me? I did a picture recently with Thomas B. Marsh. True Mormon, huh? Yep. And so I'm seeing pattern match immediately with John C. Bennett. We're getting to that. In his capacity, he published a single edition of the Nauvoo Expositor. John C. Bennett was also involved with that too. Pattern match. See? Events, names, places, and dates. See? This is very telling. The destruction of which set in motion a chain of events that eventually led to Smith's assassination, not just death. So, this is why I'm covering this video tonight. And it better not go hours, otherwise it's going to be tomorrow. Alright, Law was born in County Tyrone, Ireland, to Richard Law and Ann Hunter. There are hunters in this church. There was a hunter on the mission. And when I was in, were we in Connecticut? I think so. Elder Hunter claimed that he was so great at basketball that he was trying out for a professional team. And we were at West Point. And so if West Point, see, now I gotta check my own, fact check myself. West Point, United States Military Academy. I need a map. Give me a map. Maps. Do you hear me? Do you care? Really? Still looks the same. I haven't done any upgrading or... Alright, so... Goodness, I gotta pull way back. Oh, Newburgh. I see Newburgh. There we go. So, but I don't think Mark went with me. It was with somebody else. There's Middletown. Sister missionaries were in Middletown. Yorktown Heights. So it is a, oh wait, no, there's New Canaan. Okay. Yeah, New Canaan, Connecticut is there. There's Norwalk. It very well could be when I was in Connecticut. Okay. Yeah, because Mark was not with us. I think it was Oatley or the other guy that was with me there. And okay. Yeah, Steve Young's parents lived in New Canaan. I don't know if they're still there or if they're still alive. Yeah, that's most likely. So why did we go there? I know Poughkeepsie. We went to West Point because of Stacy from Stanford. They got married when she came out to Utah to be with him. There were many a nights where he called her on the phone on our mission, just like the district leader in Brooklyn to the sister missionary. Not the sister missionaries, the sister missionary. Dating on the mission. See, I didn't get the date. My dad threatened me before my mission. When you're on your mission, there is no woman for you to marry. Okay, Dad, whatever. It's like I have all these girlfriends. Still traumatized with Farrah Fawcett's poster you shoved in my face, trying to prove whether or not I'm gay or not. Dear hell. Jennifer Connelly. Get a picture of her, Dad. Do you see how old I am, Dad? Jennifer Connelly. Labyrinth. Hello? Don't be shoving old women in my face. Anyway. And so, yeah, he came dribbling down the court. I came out, stole the ball, and scored. Back to William Law. He's the youngest of 5 children. His older brother was Wilson Law. The Law family moved to the United States around 1820. Law eventually ended up in Churchville, Upper Canada, and at the age of 24 married Jane Silverthorne, who was 19 years of age. Oh, jailbait. Age of an adult was 21 back then. Of course, it was also common to marry jailbaits. Law and Silverthorne had 8 children, 2 daughters and 6 sons. Law and his wife joined the Church of Christ. Oops, Mormons didn't handle this one, did they? It's an ex-Mormon, isn't it? Disgruntled former Mormon, maybe. In 1836. You can tell Mormons put the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Ex-foe Nevermos put the right name of the church. And so he's joining in Canada. And so we need to find out who were the missionaries. John Taylor, the assassin of Hiram Smith. Already established as fact, remember? John Taylor became part of the Danites. John Taylor, for his loyalty, was rewarded by Brigham Young the year before he died, so that Orson Hyde doesn't become the next president's successor to Brigham. Because Orson didn't believe in Adam as Heavenly Father. So John Taylor became the one who died in prison for his crimes that Brigham Young started. And Almon W. Babbitt. And so, if I were to do a thorough research, I would check the ledger that Nelson rushed out before Thanksgiving last year to see if Babbitt is listed in the Danite ledger. The secret ledger of Brigham Young receiving payments from his Danites as all part of to pay the Judas price, and then eventually to pay for him to go to flee the country to the Mexico territory to claim his kingdom, and then get usurped by the United States the very next year when Mexico seceded. They skip 1838. Oops. They go right to 1839 from 1836. But he's still in Canada, so it doesn't matter. In 1839, Law led a group of Canadian saints to Nauvoo, Illinois. Now we see what's going on. They don't give us the month in 1839, though. Joseph Smith was still in Liberty Jail for the first into the spring of 1839. So thus Thomas B. Marsh and others did not get excommunicated by Joseph. Chronology, events, not matching. And so it's unclear as to when this event took place, because the Danites caused the war in Missouri to cause the extermination order as a result of Thomas B. Marsh's affidavit. And so the Danites violated Joseph Smith's orders from Liberty Jail to stay in Missouri until he gets out. The Danites abandoned Adam-on-Diamond, their secret headquarters, section 117, and went and founded Nauvoo. This time they incorporated it, rather than keeping it a secret. And they began collecting Danites, or converts, that they had converted, the Danites had converted, to come to Nauvoo. Joseph is locked up. They're pretty sure he's out of the picture for good. They couped the church. Brigham's now the president. It says so in the documents. And so this seems to be what's going on here, is that the word came out, Brigham Young's now in charge, come to Nauvoo, when Joseph Smith had said, no, stay where you are, wait till I get out. Okay, so he's a convert of the Danites. The call comes to gather to Zion of Brigham Young in Nauvoo. But Joseph eventually got out in 1841. Joseph Smith then chose him to be a member of the first presidency. See, because it's important to know that he was baptized in the Church of Christ. And any leadership or priesthood quorums would have a license with either the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which the Danites were doing en masse in Nauvoo. And so that when Joseph got there, he's saying, wait a minute, we've got a whole bunch of imposter Mormons with the wrong name of the church forging my signature, Sloan. And so this is very telling that Joseph Smith recognized him as legitimate because of the licensing of the right name of the church. This was 1836, before the Danites tampered with the Kirtland Safety Society and then had to do the war, to do the coup. Okay? So now he's a member of the First Presidency. And he was also a member of the Nauvoo City Council. Yep, secret combination, and in Joseph Smith's first presidency. Danites were loving this. Over time, Law became troubled by certain practices of Smith. This is where it's important that a Mormon not do this. He felt Smith was confusing church and state roles in Nauvoo. See, you got to understand the Danites. This is their city. Joseph got out. Crap. The Joseph Smith Papers exposes all of this. When the Danites are by themselves and when Joseph comes to town. There's a change in the documents. It's hilarious, if it wasn't so tragic and horrifying for national security purposes. And so, by evading extradition to be tried for crimes in Missouri. See, he's in Canada when the Danites framed and blamed him. He's a Danite convert, but had the right licensing name of the church, so that Joseph took him in as first president. So these Danites are telling him lies about what happened in Missouri, just like Thomas B. Marsh, just like David Whitmer, just like. Remember? Pattern matching. He also thought Smith used his church authority to sway political outcomes. However, it was Smith's covert practice of polygamy, was it? And his alleged advances towards Law's wife, Jane, was it? That caused Law to completely separate himself. Was it? Joseph Smith did not do this. Danites framed and blamed him. Law is in contact with the Danites, being told things. Pay attention. So rumors circulated that Joseph Smith made several proposals to Jane under the premise that she would enter a polyandrous marriage with Smith. Another accusation, completely separate from the others. Anyway, but Nicolaitan banned. Section 117. That's what's being talked about here. Law, converted by the Danites, is in communication with the Danites concerning Missouri. He's in the new headquarters of the Danites. He's there before Joseph Smith gets there. Okay? And so, who were spreading the rumors to Law about his wife? They say that Law and his wife confirmed these rumors were partly true. It's the Danites who were spreading the rumors. The Danites were doing it. They were telling everybody that Joseph approves, that he does it himself. Shh, don't tell. Law finds out. And so he's thinking these rumors are true. So enter my cousin's husband's ancestor, probably third great-grandfather, Alexander Niebuhr. Phil and Kathy Niebuhr, the hot springs up in Idaho. Jane Law had actually asked to be sealed to Smith after he had refused to seal her to William. Here we go. Why? Why did Smith refuse to seal her and William? They were already married. It has nothing to do with sealing. They're already married. Don't need to get married again. This is the Danites. According to the rumor, Smith had denied the couple because William was guilty of adultery. William had confessed his actions to Smith, though he did not tell Jane his reasons. In committing the sin, Law felt like he had transgressed his own soul. They're saying that's a quote from a source, not a rumor. And then we have Ann Eliza Young, 19th wife of Brigham Young, years later, and later critic of polygamy and Mormonism. Jane stated Smith visited her at night. Jane stated Smith visited her at night, and he knew Law. See, oh my God. This is not how you do research, guys. Well, she was a critic. See, it says, and later a critic. She's still faithful in the marriage as the 19th wife when she says this. That's what you guys should have paid attention to. And so, yeah, this confirms what factual information I already had. That the women compromised by the Danites, whether they're wives or other women involved in the rapings, the Nicolaitan band. The passing around of the wives, and the wives all blaming Joseph in their journals when they get to the valley. Here you go, Ann Eliza Young, number 19, doing the exact same pattern that I've already established as fact. And so what you see here is that this had nothing to do with any of it. This was all Danites spreading the rumors around. And so we need to get to some factual information. But we do see a pattern with John C. Bennett. John C. Bennett, likewise, in the first presidency with Smith, he confesses to Joseph Smith that he is having Nicolaitan band sex. Joseph excommunicates him. John C. Bennett's upset. How could Joseph do this to me? He's guilty too, according to what the Danites told me. John C. Bennett can't go back to the Danites. He's going to expose them. And so he goes and forms his own religious halcyon order after a short stint with James Strang, trying to get him to be involved in polygamy. Wife swapping, just like the Danites. And the halcyon order of the Illuminati is the inverted pentagrams on the Nauvoo Temple of Brigham Young. Hello, and the keystone on the doors of the Salt Lake Temple. And Don Carlos' statue of the Eagle Gate on on State Street at Temple Square. In the Logan Temple. Come on, guys. When are you going to trust me? I'm telling you how to learn. There's already factual information involved. And so we see William Law involved in the exact same pattern. Confesses to Joseph Smith that he's swapping wives. The wife is blaming Joseph. Joseph Smith gets him in trouble. But it looks like they didn't do anything. I'm seeing here in this paragraph, on January 8th, 1844, Law was informed he was he was informed. Oh, interesting. So this it was July 1843, wasn't it? 32, there you are. Yeah, July 12th, 1843, Brigham Young predated or post-dated. It never happened. This was written the year before he died. So whatever it is, predated or post-dated. He did the same thing for 9/11/1857 with the Mountain Meadows Massacre. Brigham Young wrote a letter and dated it in advance to claim innocence of that whole thing, even though he was the one who ordered it. For John D. Lee, third great grandfather of Senator Mike Lee, who also was involved in the modern day coup. Like third great grandfather, like third great grandson. And so, yeah, Joseph Smith kicks him out of the first presidency. He finds out that Law is a betrayer. And so Law is shocked and frustrated. He demanded a rehearing of his case. He's not excommunicated, he's just no longer the counselor, because the procedures for removal from the first presidency had not been followed. It's not excommunication. The rehearing was granted, and on April 18th, 1844, he was tried again. However, this time he was tried as if he were... See, this is right before Joseph is assassinated. This is right after, a week after, his King Follett sermon. However, this time he was tried as if he were, and it looks like we're... come on. Seriously? However, this time he was tried as if he were a private member and not a high-ranking church official. Once again, he felt we'll still have to go through. Is he trying to get? He's trying to get the High Council to hear the case when he's not getting excommunicated. He's just being removed from the calling, and he doesn't have an argument here. Once again, he felt this went against church protocol. The following day, he was informed of his excommunication. Yeah, they lied to us on the Wikipedia page. It was excommunicated. It's not just that he's not a counselor anymore. He got excommunicated. They finally got around to it. And they're claiming apostasy. And then he felt Smith was beyond saving, and that it was his duty to expose him to the rest of the Mormon community. And thus, the Nauvoo expositor with the secret practice of plural marriage. Yep. And so, yeah, he got excommunicated because he's dealing with the Danites. And so he's upset, and then exposes that he was working with the Danites. It's not plural marriage. It's other things. Anyway, because there are no records of any plural marriages. Brigham Young wrote them in 1846, and Nauvoo Temple not dedicated yet. They got a whole book on it, exposing that Joseph Smith was innocent. The reaction to the newspaper was not what Law expected, and after 2 days of consultation, the print press was ordered destroyed. Not by Smith. He wasn't at the meeting. Dear God. The minutes of the meeting indicate Joseph Smith was not in attendance. And so they had another person who was in charge of the meeting. He was the one that gave the order with the vote for those involved to go and destroy it. Joseph Smith had nothing to do with the meeting and the destruction. In that Nauvoo City Council, which had a lot of Danites in it, they're framing and blaming Joseph, just like they did in 1838. This time it's to murder Joseph, not to just lock him up in prison for the rest of his life. And so, yes, thus Joseph was sent to Carthage for it. And murdered by the mob, not killed. And the mob was hired by Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball. They're from the Warsaw Lodge. And the governor had learned about it and had rushed to send a letter to them to not go through with it. And they ignored the letter from the governor. The mob didn't get in trouble, just the guys who got shot by Joseph at the top of the stairs. They never made it to the door. So Willard Richards and John Taylor saying they were at the door, all bullets were flying everywhere. They had rifles. You gotta tap down the ball. I think there was even gunpowder that had to be stamped in. Then you put the ball and punch it in. And then you aim, shoot, fire, and it's incredibly long, so they couldn't bring it up the stairs anyway because it's too narrow for the long muskets with the bayonet at the end of it. They're especially long for those involved in the group, as even an eyewitness testified in court that that's what happened. They were ordered to put their rifles down and then go up and get them and bring them out, so that they can then execute him. They didn't. They came running out, so says the witness. And while they were tending to the wounds of those who were wounded by Joseph, Joseph then comes flying out the window. And then they go and stand around and shoot him. I've done the video every single year on the anniversary of that fateful day. So, yep. William Law, same pattern with the factual information. So that's what happened. And so he went on afterward to again expose that he was a true Mormon. Law met privately after his excommunication with other opponents of Smith and formed a group. So he formed his own group because the Danites wouldn't take him back because they didn't want to get exposed, just like with John C. Bennett. Shortly thereafter, Law created the true Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's the Danite code wording. True Mormons, Danites. True Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because he's against Joseph Smith that the Danites told him was the new name of the church. He's in Canada. He didn't know anything about it. Only what the Danites told him. And boom, there it reveals his connection to the Danites. The rumors were from the Danites. They were the ones practicing it in the secret combinations and blaming Joseph for it. Already established fact. And there it is. It became its president. On 7th of June, 1844, Law and his fellow followers published the Nauvoo Expositor. Yep. So, Law expressed outrage and remorse at Smith's death in his private journal. Yeah, this is where the Danites indoctrinate you and weaponize you. I've seen this with Mormons throughout this valley this whole time. And still, especially this year, as it's increased exponentially against me. Law's opinion that Smith's goal was to demoralize the world, to give it to Satan, his master. He claimed to be a god. Yeah. Did I cover that? Yeah, Jesus. The Emmanuel. No? What was it again? Whereas he was only a servant of the devil, and as such, he met his fate. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, he's blaming Joseph for it. But again, the Danites. They had the inverted pentagram of Lucifer. They were a Halcyon order. Devil, Lucifer, gods, John C. Bennett. See, he couldn't cross into the line of becoming an Illuminati Danite. And it indicates that he was committing adultery let's see. She refused Smith's request to marry him. Oh, wait a minute. So this is back to Annalisa Young's rumors in her journal. Jane Law stated that Smith had asked her to give him half her love. She was at liberty to keep the other half for her husband. This is where women get creepy in this church. It's so scary. More so in the older singles ward. I wasn't young enough in the younger singles ward as I was on my way out when I was in there. See, they're just mean girls in the younger singles ward. They're more advanced mean girls in the older singles ward, where their desperation to get married before they go into this geriatric singles ward results in framing and blaming to force a marriage, like the first wife did to me. And so it possibly, since the first wife did it to me, and the younger singles ward learned to do it then, and they just get more desperate the older. It's just, dear God, what a nightmare. Meat market, as it's called. She refused Smith's request to marry him as a polyandrous plural wife. In contrast to her claims, Smith stated Jane had thrown her arms around his neck. Hug him tight like this. Is that where the primary hymn comes from? I'm so glad when Joseph comes home. Glad as I can be. And requested to be sealed to Smith if she could not be sealed to William Law. But they don't need to be sealed, they're already married. Smith turned down the request. See, that's a Danite thing, to get the extra sealing, and thus the baptisms for the dead also. Because Brigham Young used section 119 that he published after Joseph died for these concepts for prostitution to the Mormon women, Mormon girls. 21 is the age of an adult. And thus get resealed in Brigham Young's kingdom. And what was the other one? Sex trafficking also was a part of that. But, baptisms for the dead, yeah. And so, also, you pay Brigham Young with section 119 to extort your dead ancestors to likewise be saved. All of this is religious threats to Mormons to hold them in bondage. That's why Mormons need to be freed from bondage by the man like Moses, the Messiah ben David, one mighty and strong, Emmanuel. All of them wrapped up into one. Yeah, wow. Law still believed Mormonism was true, but he viewed Smith as a fallen prophet. And thus why Brigham Young published section 85 the year before he died, which was a letter. That's why Joseph Smith never published it. But it contains the prophecy of the one mighty and strong. It's because Brigham Young claimed that Joseph Smith was the fallen prophet in verse 8, and Brigham Young is verse 7, which comes from Deuteronomy, and thus the one mighty and strong is, and I don't know, should we? We're only at an hour. It's still going to have to be put up tomorrow. Let's see if let's check on AI here. Is the one mighty and strong from Doctrine and Covenants 85:7 the man like Moses? No. Yes. Awesome. Come on. The Messiah ben David? No. Emmanuel? No. Who is the one mighty and strong? Come on. Who is the one mighty and strong? They don't say. The The one mighty and strong refers to a person who will be sent by God to set the house of God in order, with the interpretation that likely represents a divinely appointed leader within the church. Though the specific identity is not explicitly stated and has been a subject of debate and misinterpretation by some who claim to be that figure. In the context of Scripture, it is generally understood to refer to a future leader who will act with great power and authority to correct issues within the church. There's no issues to be corrected. I never did do that video for you. I've got Joseph Fielding Smith Sr.'s first presidency statement on the One Mighty and Strong. Just never got to it. Hilarious. Okay. Time to wind down for bed. We'll post this tomorrow. AI sucks so bad. It's just hilarious. If it weren't so tragic. And so, yeah, we're about to get election results here too. So we'll see if the chaos begins as the people are getting off work to go tamper with the polls and the election results that will start to be coming in here pretty quick.